I remember when my nephew would literally run away whenever I pulled out a book. His mom was so worried. After all, we've all heard how important reading is for brain development, vocabulary, future academic success, and so on. But the more she pushed, the more he resisted. A cornerstone of Montessori philosophy is follow the child. This means observing carefully to understand your child's unique interests and learning styles. Then you adapt that approach accordingly. Today, we are tackling something I hear from parents a lot of times. My child is not interested in reading books. If you're nodding your head right now, you're in the right place. Let's dive into why this happens and what we can do about it without forcing, bribing, or creating power struggles. I remember when my nephew would literally run away whenever I pulled out a book. His mom was so worried. After all, we've all heard how important reading is for brain development, vocabulary, future academic success, and so on. But the more she pushed, the more he resisted. Maybe your situation looks completely different. Perhaps your child is sitting through stories, or maybe they did enjoy books as toddlers or a couple of years ago, but now screens or active play is taken over. Whatever your situation, I want you to know something important. This is normal, and there are gentle, effective ways to nurture love for reading in a child. Before we jump to solutions, let's understand why some children resist books. Our brains are all wired differently. Children develop at their own unique pace. Some children are highly kinesthetic learners, which means they love moving to be able to process information. Sitting with a book feels unnatural to them. Others are visual learners who actually might prefer pictures over text. And some children simply haven't found books that sparks their interest and joy. Brain science shows us that forcing activities creates negative associations. Whenever reading becomes a source of tension or disappointment, children's brains actually create pathways that connects books with stress. That is the opposite of what we want, isn't it? So let's talk about developmental milestones. Just like children walk and talk at different ages, reading readiness varies widely. Some children naturally gravitate towards books at the age of 3. Some might take longer, let's say 7 or 8, and that is perfectly okay. Let me also share in Finland, formal reading instruction doesn't even begin till the age of 7. And Finnish children rank amongst the best readers in the world. Why? Because they focus on creating positive associations with stories and language before any sort of formal instruction begins. So, what can we actually do? Let me share some approaches that honor your child's development while gently nurturing reading skills. First, expand your definition of reading. Reading doesn't just mean sitting with a traditional book. It's engaging with language, stories, and information can come in many forms like comic books, magazines, even audiobooks, storytelling, conversations. These are all building crucial language skills. Second, follow your child's interest intensely. Does your child love dinosaurs? Get multiple dinosaur books, but also dinosaur cards, puzzles, words. Help them create their own dinosaur world or story. When information connects to their passion, children are naturally motivated to decode it. I worked with a family whose 6-year-old was showing zero interest in books. He was obsessed with building things. We created a special area with building manuals, blueprints, instruction booklets. Within weeks, he was voluntarily working to decode the text because it was serving his own passion. The environment we create speaks volumes. In Montessori philosophy, we emphasize the prepared environment, one that invites exploration without pressure. Let me share some specific Montessori approaches which can help you create a rich literacy space for your child. Set up a dedicated book area. It has to be a low, forward facing bookshelf where the covers are visible. The visibility helps children make independent choices based on what visually appeals to them. Keep only 5 to 7 books out at a time to prevent overwhelm around the age of 5 to 7. Quality over quantity is key in Montessori spaces. So you can have a small chair or a floor cushion nearby to communicate that this space belongs to them and not just the adults. In Montessori, we believe that children thrive when environments are designed as per children. So consider also creating themed book baskets that you rotate weekly. Perhaps a nature basket one week, community helper basket next week, This kind of rotation can keep the interest alive while respecting your child's current developmental interests. That's something you could try. Children learn more from what we do than what we say. In Montessori education, we put a lot of emphasis on modeling desired behaviors rather than directing them. Create these grace and courtesy lessons that Montessori spoke about. This might look like demonstrating how to carefully turn the pages, how to appreciate the illustrations, how to return the books to their proper places, how to turn the pages with love while looking at it intentionally, right? This can really help your child develop respect for books without a lecture. What you could also do is have your own reading practice that your child is looking at constantly, right? For children to have a desire in reading, they have to see the adults around them reading. It's just that simple. So you have to be genuinely engaged in your books and not your phone. And that will help your child understand how valuable books are. Consider setting up parallel reading time where you're reading your book and children are exploring their books. And there should be no pressure to engage, just being around each other in the presence of books. This is like an indirect approach, and this also normalizes reading. Talk about what you're reading in natural ways. You can just share with your child a little bit about what you've read. You could ask open-ended questions, and these questions could spark thinking rather than testing your child. Plant seeds of curiosity into your child and don't add any pressure. Sometimes the issue isn't reading, but how the format of reading is, right? So many children, especially under 7, they just connect very deeply with oral storytelling than written text because their brains are wired for human connection. So tell them stories, not just from books, from your own childhood. Narrate your day like a storybook. Tell them about an incident like a story. And then, Mama, open the refrigerator and do you know what happened, what I found? Create that excitement about stories in general. These activities will build an understanding of vocabulary. These will develop listening skills in your child. And this also means there is no rigid routine because reading can happen on the go any time of the day, and stories can go along during the whole day. Maybe stories happen during bath time through washcloth puppets, or perhaps you're listening to an audiobook during a car ride, or it could just be, during meal prep. For more active children who are on the go, you can try reading walks where you're reading a page and then walk and discuss, and then you can read another page because movement is actually helping some children focus better on the content. A cornerstone of Montessori philosophy is follow the child. This means observing carefully to understand your child's unique interests and learning styles. Then you adapt that approach accordingly. Pay close attention to what types of books and stories your child enjoys, and you can create a reading preference observation notes, where your child has shown even a flicker of interest and you've recorded it. What the topic was, probably what was the time of the day where your child was interested. Have these specific observations that can really guide your book selections and story time narration selections at that particular time. In Montessori, there is a lot of realistic books, many factual books alongside fiction, because some children need books with high visuals, some children like fiction, some children like facts. So we have all kinds of books that we place in a school. And a lot of time children do prefer less text and more action, more pictures as well. So while we are concerned about screen time replacing reading, remember technology can sometimes also bring us together and bridge this, right? So there are so many ebooks, there's audio support, there are reading games that the child can indulge in. I like to just play the audiobook while my screen is off and the child is actually listening to the same stories, and it's not replacing anything, it's just complementing the same stories that she already knows. It's basically just a little bit of transition that's happening, right? And please remember, patience is essential. Reading development isn't linear, and pressure almost always is going to backfire because your child's developmental journey is all about experiencing books in a way that they fall in love with it. Trust your child's developmental journey while you continue to provide. Remember, reading is a tool for learning and joy, not the end goal itself. Our ultimate aim isn't just capable readers, but lifelong learners who have associated books with discovery, pleasure, and joy. So respect developmental timelines and be mindful of any underlying challenges. If your child is struggling with focusing on any activities, has difficulty with spoken language, or has shown signs of delay, or has frustration when processing visually, you can consider a gentle assessment, because there could be some conditions also that could be missed out by us in early childhood. So get that checked and support your child during the early childhood in whichever way is possible. Early appropriate support can make an enormous difference and it can prevent unnecessary struggles. Remember that. If you found this video helpful, please hit the like button, subscribe to our channel. We're going to be talking a lot about books that we've loved from birth till 5.5, 6 years. And I'm sure there will be a lot of takeaways for you also from all of those videos. So keep following and happy parenting. And remember to read to your child every single day. When we read to them at bedtime, it's our time to give back to our child, and it's okay to read aloud even till the age of 10 and 12.